I think what was really fun this week that I really enjoyed was the TNA world champion, Joe Hendry, who obviously, did a massive sort of favour at WrestleMania, turned up, kept it secret, really delivered that huge pop, and then it was wiped up very quickly. With the TNA and WWE working arrangement, he lost his TNA title to the NXT wrestler Trick Williams.
Right.
And it really couldn't be more. How many times, guys, are you going to sort of go, I'm nursing the snake back to health, it won't hurt me, it's going to bite you? No, not me. I've been feeding it milk.
We've had a few meetings about this very situation. Do you sort of feel it with Hendry? Apart from the fact that he really fucked up a rope run this week, that kind of
unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I think his opponent was grabbing hold of his arm a bit too long, and I think he was expecting to be whipped into the corner, but it looked bad.
He'd already started his run towards the rope, and then he veered off. It was just,
it's a split-second decision. It's mad, isn't it, how something like that could be,
The problem is, and it's one of those things about wrestling, isn't it? There's a certain amount of perception is reality. And Joe Hendry has had the biggest month of his life, in terms of wrestling. But what you can see is that perception, he is being squashed, he is being beaten, he's being rolled under the wheels of WWE. And they have told him, I'm sure, oh God, I think he mentioned talking to Cena and Cena saying, this is just the first one, don't you worry, you'll be back. They will tell you anything. And you just sort of go, how is he going to recover? Really, from the last month, I'm on the biggest stage of it all, and you were just sort of like, they've mugged you off.
I kind of get the sense that they have very few comic characters in their stable that can be relied upon to, bring forward, his meme. And so you always need like an R-Truth or like an Otis kind of character to do some stuff, and obviously he can wrestle as well. So you sort of get the sense that I thought he would have a bit more rope than the usual kind of like bloke from TNA,
agree.
but
I totally agree.
But it doesn't seem to be the way it's going.
It's really apparent they've gone, and rightly, they've gone, his entrance is one of the most over in wrestling. But then they're going, so why do we need the guy?
Yeah.
We just need the entrance. So get his entrance, you play the music, and it doesn't matter what happens next. And I feel for him, because I think, everyone would want to be in the position he's in. It's just that when you see what's happening in the position he's in, you just go, God, they are chewing him up. It's I feel sad for it. It is sad.
It's sad.
It is sad. He's on the precipice, isn't he? And he doesn't realise that they're. I mean, instead of pushing him over, pushing him right back. I don't quite. The metaphor collapsed there. I'm really sorry. Didn't do a very good job.
I asked Chris Brooks, friend of the show, how come wrestlers never have bruises when they're constantly hurting themselves?
What a great question. I never even thought of it.
Turns out it all boils down to them fucking doing it properly. I was like, how do you do this without having a bruise? And he said, you just know how to fall usually, and you just do it. And he did say that he used to bruise, but he doesn't bruise quite so much anymore. So maybe just the body just gives up after a while. And also tanning as well. I'm thinking that like maybe that's why Mr. Iguana became green, because he was very bruisable, and he decided, I'm going to dress all in green.
Yeah, Sheamus occasionally will put because he's obviously very pale, he will occasionally be on Twitter and there'll be a great big scrape and a big red mark and stuff. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe that tanning is. That's one of those real signs though. If you took a big fall, if you're an elderly person and they went, the thing is, you haven't bruised, and you'd go, great, and they'd go, and that's the most awful thing of all.
It's all inside.
The bruise is inside, and it's spreading, and it's getting deeper and deeper into your heart.
Your bruise is like a new organ. The bruise lives. You've got lungs, you've got heart, and you've got the bruise now.
It looked like a goose bruise.
Oh yeah, goose eggy bruise.
Zoe Stark did a classic sort of, I just twisted. Wrestling injuries, the worst ones, and never they took a big move.
No.
And then it was, they could never walk again. I mean, that has happened, obviously, in the past. But what they tend to be is Kevin Nash injuries, which is you were walking and then everything just went ping. But Zoe Stark on Raw, she had a thing where she sort of ran in and her leg just gave way underneath her, and it was jelly leg time and revolting, absolutely horrible.
Absolutely horrible.
But yeah, she did a little thing saying thanks for all the support and things. I was surprised that she survived the last round of cuts. And I think, there might be a part of her that goes, well, I've got 8 months now where they can't get rid of me. And so you've got to look for the rainbow.
Probably not. If you feel like the writing's on the wall for you, it's probably worth just taking a hammer to your own leg.
Absolutely.
Misery style.
I do that I do that probably 2 or 3 times a month at work. I just sit there and I come out of the loos with a mangled hand.
Can't fire me.
This is your fault. The other little bit of news, which sort of slipped under the radar a bit, but someone asked Triple H, I think it was actually the Daily Mail of all people.
Oh, right. Okay,
They asked him whether NXT Europe was still alive, and he said, yes, it is. We're building up again, and we're going to be looking at doing NXT Europe. It's not dead, is what he said. And recently they had a load of trials, I think at the start of April, where lots and lots of UK wrestlers were invited to a tryout at the Performance Centre in Enfield, which they obviously took a long lease on and haven't been able to get rid of.
Still dusty Enfield NXT Performance Centre.
Exactly.
Wow.
It is still there, which is great news because it means we can go there and try and break in.
And roll off a table, show them what I've got.
The really interesting thing about it is all of the sort of stars of the British scene were there, but there were also a number of Europeans who wrestle quite a lot in the UK. And in the last week or so, some contracts have been issued, and they've gone to Zazaya, who is Spanish, Igel Blanc, who is French, and a guy called Mike Di Vecchio, who we saw in GCW. In that clusterfuck battle royal, there was a guy there who was a kind of muscular who actually was, quite good and impressive and sort of got over.
Yeah.
But he's been signed as well. And what's really noticeable about this is...
One from each country.
Well, they are making it very clear that this is NXT Europe, isn't it? This is not NXT UK. And so it suggests to me that they're going to go forward, but they probably are going to use a European base.
Right,
the fact that the first signees have all been people from Europe, not from Britain in any way. So I thought that was quite interesting. And again, I sort of look at it and I just go, I mean, this is not going to work. It's not. They tried it. They were lucky to be able to blame it on the pandemic for failing, but they had already lost so much interest in it by the time it was on. And I can't tell you how little legacy NXT UK seems to have left on wrestling. It's hard to find streams where you can download, the content from NXT UK, because it's almost like everyone just went, not only did I not video it, I'm just not interested in getting it now. They really don't care.
I think Triple H, I would have lied and said it's not happening, because it just seems like Triple H is making ill-fated decisions left, right and centre. He just seems to be sort of doing strange stuff that's just not, you just know for a fact is not going to be popular.
Yeah, and he's slightly got himself to a point where a lot of things, like, for example, the end of WrestleMania, people are a little bit like, hang on, is he that good? Or does he kind of make better decisions when there's someone above him who's going, no, you're not doing that. No, don't do that. And so, the jury's a little bit out on him at the moment. And I think with The Rock coming back, I think politically he's in a little bit of a wobbly situation. Yeah. Because I don't think The Rock's ever been a huge pal. No. So, and The Rock is now much more powerful than him. What a terrible life that must be.
I know.
I just fell in love with it. Growing up, loved it, and when I got into it, I realized it was, for me at least, the greatest form of entertainment. It's just this physical art form where you're just storytelling, and then the storytelling just sort of ends up in this ring, and the drama and the presentation and the pageantry of it. And when it's done well and it's done live in front of people, as we talked about WrestleMania, where there's 80,000 people there, when it's done live and they're all going crazy, there's nothing like it.
With the sort of Raw and over the past couple of weeks, they don't seem to be setting anything up for any of the pay-per-views. Got Money in the Bank coming up soon. We know more about the AAA stuff happening than Money in the Bank. Nothing seems to be getting set up.
Did you see what they've done? Again, we're talking about TNA here in WWE and how they treat them. AAA and WWE obviously have come to a working arrangement. Have you seen what they did? So they advertised that the AAA Mega Champion or Campion Vikingo would be taking on Chad Gable. Right. And what they hadn't done was they hadn't actually done that title switch yet in AAA. So the belt is currently held by Alberto Del Rio. And the WWE sort of said, okay, well, the thing is, you see, is we didn't do that in Mexico. We just did that in America where no one cares and is going to see. And they were like, you know how fucking social media works, you fucking assholes. you know. And they were like, oh, so sorry. Did it matter to you? And it's just like, I love the fact they always, whenever they do these deals, they give them a month of silence and then they do something to just go, it begins.
They just go into the bowels of the IT department, just pulling wires out. Just pulling fucking wires out. Yeah.
That's it. Oh,
the server rooms.
Sorry, did we spill our big jug of molasses all over all of your computers? Yeah, what are you doing? This is how it is, bitch. It's awful. You're absolutely right. I mean, I would say that because of the sort of nature of how the TV is, there is something that says to me, with the pay-per-views being given away on Netflix and previously on the network, they don't rely so much on pay-per-view. And so what does become more important is that people watch television, because that's where you get the advertising money.
Okay.
And they have become worse and worse at selling the big shows. It's quite a pain.
Will you ever bring WrestleMania to the UK from Beverly? WrestleMania is like your Super Bowl, isn't it? So will you ever bring it to the UK?
Yeah, so WrestleMania is a 2-night event. This year it's in Las Vegas in April. It sort of works on a bidding basis, much like the Super Bowl and the Olympics, where countries and cities and everybody bid on the process of where we're going to go next. So, hey, it's the game, Triple H. I'm sure everyone saw our joint statement yesterday regarding the shift in some of the dates on the WWE calendar.
In one of the greatest cities on earth, New Orleans, Louisiana!
But that excitement is no longer as New Orleans gets pulled from playing host to WrestleMania 42 next year, with The Rock even coming to town to make this special announcement.
To be able to come back to New Orleans, and it just personally for me, New Orleans, the city of New Orleans, has meant so much.
Mark, I don't think we talked about on our special live show that we did last week about Hulk Hogan doing a ventriloquist act. Did we do that or did we not do that?
We didn't.
Why didn't we talk about that? That was fucking mental.
Did you watch the clip of him doing it?
Yes. It was.
I mean, ventriloquism is not accurate, right?
He just says brother about 5 times. He doesn't even move the mouth properly.
Brother.
I'm obsessed with Hogan's Hangout more and more, which is his sort of beachside bar,
right?
Which is basically run for people in Florida who sort of go, the best thing I could imagine would be to watch Hulk Hogan and one of the Nasty Boys eat their dinner on stage while people do karaoke, that sort of thing. And he's got this weird bar that's just, it looks like a crash.
Yeah.
It's very bright. And what happens is people just turn up, and I think they're a bit awed by Hogan. And Hogan has no interaction with people beyond just going, keep spending your money, keep turning up. And part of it is he turns up to it frequently because that's the only reason anyone's going to go there. And there was just this clip of him with a orange sort of
off-brand
what I call,
Kermit.
because it's off-brand, it's called Kremit the Frog, right? And he's got Kremit on his knee, and he's just got the mouthpiece open, and he's going, brother, like that. And you can hear men of a certain age off the camera going, and he goes, brother, like that, and they go,
He waits for the reaction.
brother, And this went viral. People are like, Hulk Hogan ventriloquism with it. Just Hogan's Hangout is like, the thing it reminds me of most is that little clip in a pub where all those disparate people are dancing and come into shot one at a time.
Yes, lady in a going out clothes. I think there's a fisherman, and then I think a dwarf rocks up. Man with sticks, possibly.
That's it, an elderly bloke. There's a guy who looks like he might have been in some kind of Eastern European army, and it's just... it looks like a vision of hell.
And it's a Tuesday afternoon.
And
it's not in the evening. It's bright as hell.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday afternoon, and people are getting down.
And it just, Hogan's Hangout is like that place.
Yeah.
I mean, what's happened is someone has brought that along. I don't know, they've sort of gone, this would be funny to take down the pub.
Well, have they got it from the pier or something? I feel like that sort of thing is wind down the pier. And they've given it to Hulk Hogan's gone, I am bereft of anything to do here.
You have got to give me that. I've got something so funny to do with this. Watch this. Get me a chair. Right, okay. I'll get it.
Pythons. Pythons.
Brother. I'll do it again. I'll do it 2 more times. This is great. And it's just so witless, the whole thing. The one person who I know has cottoned on to the idea that this is just basically like Wayne Lineker's bar, but in Florida, is the wrestler Joey Janela. He dressed up as Florida Man, so he had his MAGA hat on and stuff, and he went and did the karaoke there and filmed himself singing at Hulk Hogan and then taking a piece of, I think, like salmon off Hogan's plate while Hogan was eating, watching the karaoke.
Right, okay.
And he put it in his mouth. And you can see Hogan sort of going, oh, man, I wish I could shout at that guy, but I've got to look like a genial host. And Joey Janela's sort of weird thing of it is just finding out that Hogan's Hangout seems to be the sort of saddest place in the world in a lot of ways, where it's just a load of slightly sort of mimosa'd up old men entertaining themselves and not really having the tools to do so. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. I'm surprised that when it went viral, people are just like, oh, this is hilarious. It's not. It's so sad. So sad. So desperately sad.
You have got to try and peel the potato and get the longest piece of peel without it breaking off.
Yeah.